10 most important lessons that I have learned in the last 10 years of my life as a videographer, photographer, and content creator for other brands. I want to share these lessons because I feel like I have gathered enough experience in the last 10 years of working, and hopefully you can learn anything from this so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So hopefully. Let's go with that. What is the number one lesson? So the first thing that I want to talk is about knowing your camera and not having to struggle with it. That's one lesson that I learned in the worst way possible. I started to do videos and I didn't have any idea on how to use a camera, how to do nothing, absolutely nothing on a camera. I learned because I needed to do this at the time. So that was something that pushed me to do it. The necessity of making a living at the time is the only thing I knew how to do. So yeah, I will be making another video talking about what and why I got started on videography and photography and content creation itself. So number one, know your settings before you work or you're doing anything for a client or for someone else. And that's something that is going to save you a lot of time. Practice when you're by yourself, when you're creating your own content. Try to use your menus to go into your settings and customize your camera. Right now, all cameras have a huge amount of customization. And if they don't, even better for you, you don't have to tweak too much. But I think the best is to go and learn your camera before you have a client or before somebody else is giving you money or before you commit to do something important. That's the first lesson. Lesson number two for anybody who is trying to get into photo, video, or content creation is lighting. I cannot stress enough how important it is to know how light works and how affects your environment and your subject. So learning the basics of light is another very important step. When I first started, I didn't know anything about lights. I have no idea until I keep practicing and practicing, and I feel like at some point you start to see life in a different way. Like you can see how light shapes things around you, everything. And once you get this mindset and you see how light transforms your environment, and once you understand the concept that light shapes our world and we only see because of light, and then you can see how light behaves, how light travels from one place to another, how the light travel from the source to the destination, how it changes, and how you want to use this as a way for you to shape it to your advantage and to create something that looks in the way how you want it to look. It can be dramatic, soft, cinematic, harsh, or anything in between. Once you understand the basic concept, it will make a huge difference in the way how you actually record and your decision-making process, which is another very important step when you are doing anything creative. So the third step is to fix all your mistakes on location when you are recording, when you're shooting. so you don't have to deal with it later. Often we tend to say, let's fix that in post, let's fix this after. And that's a huge mistake. You have no idea how many times I tried to do that, how many times I tried to say, let's fix this in post-production. And that's the worst mistake that I have done, because I spent hours trying to fix something that I could have just fixed it on the location in the time that I was recording. And sometimes it's not even fixable, and you lose a lot of time of work. You're gonna have a huge problem, and it's gonna set you back for a long time. So for number 4 is less is more in all the senses. And that's extremely important, that you really know your limitations. So you gotta know what are your limits, what you cannot do, so you can adapt to the situation and work around this problem. That's something that, again, you don't want to fix it in post if possible. This is where I think that creativity comes from, which are your limitations. Knowing that you won't be able to do something in the way that you imagine because of you don't have the resources, you don't have the right equipment. It's gonna force you to think in a different way. And I think that this is where real creativity is coming from, not from complaining that you don't have the right equipment or you don't have what you need to achieve something that you wanted to do, and you are actually improving and on location, on the job that you're doing, on set, you are trying to come up with a creative solution for this problem that you're having. So less is more, work around it, and sometimes you might be surprised about your results. And lesson number 5, my lesson number 5 is to learn how to differentiate a creative project from a solution product. That's mostly when a company or a business is giving you money so you can help them to achieve a certain outcome. It's not about looking cool or doing a cool video. It's more about understanding what they want to achieve in their marketing strategy campaign and helping them to create a solution from that problem. Sometimes we want to do some crazy videos with flashy transitions and with a lot of whistles and stuff that makes the video look cool, or at least you think it looks cool, but in reality you are not achieving what they are looking for, which is to sell more of that product, or that people really understand what their service is about. So sometimes, again, less is more. The lesson number 6 that I have learned is that to be a great videographer, you must be a great photographer, because before videography or film, we had photos, and it doesn't happen the other way around. It's usually first photography and then video. Once you get the solids of photography right, which is your light, your frame, your compositions, and then you can step into the video side, and that comes with learning motion throughout your photography. So learn your basics of photography before you jump into video. I think this will save a huge amount of time on trying to get an image that looks professional, which I don't know if it's important right now, because now everyone is trying to create something with their phones, and so many videos that look amateur are getting 1 million views. So if you want to master and to actually become a person that knows your camera and everything, learn photography before your video to get a solid base for your future. Lesson number 7 is to invest most of your time and money in your passion projects. So that's the most important part, because you will do whatever you want. You are not creating a solution for a client. You are not trying to sell anything. You are just trying to create something different, something that is unique, something that you can express yourself and show your personality. So trying to explore the biggest amount of ideas, possibilities within that is the most important. So this will help you to experiment, and with experimentation comes innovation. So invest in your passion projects more than what you invest in your clients' projects. So lesson number 8 is creativity does not happen on set. You are not creative the day that you are recording. You are creative the day that you think about the idea of the video, the photo that you want to make. That should be the step number 1. That should be the most important thing of everything. The day that you're recording, it's a day for assembling, for putting things together. You are getting a puzzle together of an image that you created before and you are trying to build. You can make always something on set in the moment, and you might or you might not get the best. The best ideas always comes in the most unexpected moment, when you are not trying to record, or you're having a good time, or taking a shower, or working out. So think about your ideas before and try to write as much as possible. Lesson number 9 comes from everything that I have talked in the last 20 minutes, which is know the rules so you can break them with purpose. So knowing the basics, as I explained before, knowing all your basics will help you and will give you permission to break any rule intentionally, because you're trying to achieve a creative purpose. So knowing your basics is fundamental. Not following them, it's also fundamental, but when it's needed, not because of negligence, but because you're trying to create a story. And breaking that rule will help you to achieve the feeling that you're after. And lesson number 10 is actually following the lesson number 9. And this is knowing when you can break a rule or not. So I think personally that you can break rules when it helps the story to become better, to give them more intention to your story, to make your story more interesting, to create more drama or suspense or engagement with the viewer. So there is when you can take a creative decision of breaking rules in the video or photography. Number 10, know the difference when you can break or not a rule. And that comes from experience and from learning how and the when to break a rule that will enhance or will help your film or your photo to be more interesting, to attract more attention, or for you to express in a better way what you're trying to express. And as a bonus, this is number 11, and this is learn how to share your vision. Sometimes we have a vision, we have an inspiration, we see things in a way that nobody else is seeing them as you are in your head. So I think learning how to share your ideas in a way that other people tries to see the same things as you do, it's extremely important. First is recognize that people will never see exactly the same as you're seeing. What they will get from you is an interpretation of your imagination. Knowing and accepting that idea is going to help you to transmit and to communicate better when you're trying to collaborate or work with different artists, models, or other people, other creatives on set. This is 10 lessons that I have learned as a videographer, photographer, and content creator. 10 years that I have doing this for other people, and now I decided to start doing it for myself. I hope that my experience, my mistakes, and everything that I have gone through have helped you to, or is going to help you in your journey if you are just starting out. Maybe you also have 10 years of experience or more than me and you feel identified with that. So feel free to share any experience, to comment, or to ask any questions. It feels very good. I'm very pleased to share my failures, my knowledge, my life lessons. So I think that's all for today. I hope you get something valuable. I hope you have learned anything from that. And I see you on the next one.